3 people have been killed and 3 others have been injured in a shooting in Virginia Tuesday evening, according to law enforcement. According to Associated Press, at about 5:30 p.m., law enforcement received 911 calls about a shooting at a townhouse complex in Spotsylvania County, about 65 miles southwest of Washington, D.C., said Major Elizabeth Scott, spokesperson for the Spotsylvania Sheriff's Office. No arrests have been made. There's dozens upon dozens of officers out actively looking for suspects and preserving the crime scene, Scott said. The people injured in the mass shooting have been taken to hospitals. Their condition is unknown. No additional information about the victims was immediately available. Scott said they are urging the public to stay clear of the area. Fierce fighting is taking place in the Belgorod region between units of the Ukrainian armed forces and Russian troops. This was reported by Russian military correspondent Semyon Pegov. The journalist said that the fighting took place around the settlements of Demidovka and Popovka in the region. The Ukrainian armed forces continue to attempt to penetrate our defenses and consolidate their positions in the area, but are facing serious resistance, Pegov said. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenski confirmed for the first time overnight that forces were conducting operations in Belgorod. Zelensky said Ukraine's top commander, Oleksandr Syrsky, had presented a report, on the front line, our presence in the Kursk region and our presence in the Belgorod region. We continue active operations in the enemy's border areas, and this is absolutely justified. The war must return to where it came from. Our main objective remains the same: to protect our land and our communities in the Sumy and Kharkiv regions from Russian occupiers. He later referred to operations in the area by Ukraine's 225th Assault Regiment and congratulated the unit for its performance. Zelensky repeated Kiev's long-held contention that despite Russia's recapture of areas of Kursk in recent weeks, the operation was successful in that it drew Russian forces away from the war's main front line in Ukraine's Donetsk region. Due to the entire Kursk operation, we have managed to reduce pressure on other frontline sectors, particularly in Donetsk region, he said. The president last month referred obliquely to certain steps undertaken by Ukraine's military in Russia, a little below the Kursk region, implicitly suggesting a presence in Belgorod region. Russian military bloggers had reported battles in Belgorod region between Russian and Ukrainian troops. Russia said its troops had seized the village of Basivka in Ukraine's northeastern Sumy region, opposite Kursk, and were battering Ukrainian forces in different settlements. Russian President Vladimir Putin has repeatedly suggested that Russian forces carve out a buffer zone along the border. A Ukrainian military spokesperson issued a new denial on Monday that Basivka was in Russian hands. Fighters of the rugby team unit of the 129th Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces have stopped the advancing column of the Russian army near the settlement of Kyiv in Russia's Kursk region and destroyed the armored vehicles in the column. At night, drone operators of the unit, with the use of drones, mined the road regularly used by the Russian army. As a result, 2 KAMAZ 53949 Typhoon K and 2 GAZ 2330 Tiger armored vehicles, as well as an infantry fighting vehicle, were disabled. Later, the equipment were destroyed by explosions from drones and kamikaze drone strikes. NATO's chief raised concerns about China's arms buildup and military drills near Taiwan and called on the organization members and friendly nations to work together to keep free and open sea lanes in the region. China is supporting the Russian war effort. China is building up its armed forces, including its navy, at a rapid pace, Secretary General Mark Rutte told reporters as he wrapped up his visit to the Japanese Navy port of Yokosuka on Tuesday. According to Associated Press, Japan considers China a threat in the region and has, in recent years, accelerated its military buildup, including preparing to acquire strike-back capability with long-range cruise missiles. Rutte dispelled any concerns over U.S. security guarantees, saying that the U.S. requested NATO to be more involved in the Indo-Pacific region. "I'm here to expand our relationship with the IP4. Rutte is expected to meet Japan's defense minister later on Tuesday and Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba on Wednesday in Tokyo.
And of course it also has to do with the role China is playing. Let's not be naive about it. China is supporting the Russian war effort. China is building up its armed forces, including its navy, at a rapid pace. So we cannot be naive, and we really have to work together, assess what is happening, and therefore I think developing the defense industrial base is so important. That is one of the focal points in my visit here. Thank you. You know the policies of all allies in NATO, but also when it comes to the IP4 concerning Taiwan, so that you know. And of course we are worried about all these drills and all these military exercises. So we follow them very closely and are a worrying sign, clearly. And it was the US itself which also asked me, NATO, to become even more involved, not like in Article 5 or anything like that, but in terms of joint defense industrial capacity, base building, innovations, etc. That's one of the reasons I'm here, to really expand that relationship with the IP4 and now with the biggest IP4 partner, which clearly is Japan, also being the only member of the G7 not in NATO. So this is an important visit, and I'm really very glad that the US is sticking to that relationship with Japan. I think it's very important.